Hello YouTube divers, this is WaterDive 122 and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Magic Metal Mondays. Today we're going to be doing another album ranking for you guys here today. We're going to be staying in the power metal genre and we're going to be talking about Finnish power metal legends Sonata Arctica. This is a band that I've wanted to do for quite a while now, like for a good bit. They're a very popular band within the European power metal scene, much like Halloween, Edguy, Hammerfall, Blind Guardian, Gamma Ray, the list goes on. But Sonata Arctica is a little bit more of a unique band because they incorporate a lot more keyboard work into their sound, which gives them like a very cold, icy, wintry type of vibe. I mean, their whole shtick is like with winter and wolves. I mean, I guess it sort of makes sense given the fact that they are from Finland, and that's the kind of thing you would probably see up there. But I mean, yeah, it's Sonata Arctica probably has one of the most consistent discographies I've ever listened to thus far. This list was really tough for me to rank. Like, my bottom choice was very easy, and my number one choice was very easy. Everything else, like, in between, was very, very hard to rank. Yeah, let's get started with the ranking. So coming in at number 10 is the 2012 album Stones Grow Her Name. This is literally the only album that I genuinely dislike from Sonata Arctica. I think this album is way too cheesy. I think this album is way too stupid. I think this album is just really overblown and really repetitive. I mean, it has a lot of the band's most infamous songs, like Cinder Blocks, Somewhere Close to You, and Crap Load of Money. Those three songs in particular are probably some of the worst songs in Sonata Arctica's whole discography, especially Cinder Blocks and Crap Load of Money, and the latter of which was actually released as a single. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But yeah, outside of those songs, the rest of the album is very hit or miss. My favorite tracks on here are Part 2 and 3 of Wildfire, the two sequel songs from the Wildfire track from Reckoning Night. I think both of those tracks are very good. The opening track, Only the Broken Hearts, Make You Beautiful. That one's a pretty fun one. I Have a Right is also pretty good. I think that's one of their more iconic songs. And Don't Be Mean, while I do think that the title is extremely cheesy, the song in of its own self is fine. But outside of that, the rest of this album is just very forgettable and very skippable. So, Stones Grow Her Name comes in here at number 10. I do not like this record. Coming in at number 9, this one is going to be very controversial. We're going to be talking about their third album, Winter Hearts Guild, from 2003. Every pick from this point onwards are albums that I absolutely love and are albums that I think are ridiculously consistent. And Winter Hearts Guild, while I do think it's one of their weaker records, it's mostly just due to a matter of preference. I mean, this album has amazing songs on here, like Abandoned, Please, Brainwash, Exploited. I love that song. Graven Image as well. I like that one a lot. Victoria's Secret is probably the most overplayed song off the record, one of their more overplayed songs overall. I think it's a good song, and Broken and Draw Me, both of those songs are fantastic as well. This album definitely has its high points, but when it comes to Sonata Arctica's discography as a whole, I just think this record, I just think they've done better. So, nothing really more I could say here. Winter Hearts Guild comes in here at number 9. Number 8, we're going to be talking about the 2004 album, Reckoning Night. This one might be very controversial because I see a lot of Sonata Arctica fans hold this album like in the top 3, or heck, some of them even have it at number 1 for good reason. A lot of their iconic songs are on this record, like Misplaced, Ain't Your Fairy Tale, Don't Say a Word, My Celine, Wildfire, White Pearl, Black Oceans, and White Pearl and Black Oceans. All these songs are absolute bangers. All of them are. And of course, and I even like the closing track, Shemendali. I believe that's Shemendali. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Could be wrong. But overall, Reckoning Night is a very strong record, and I could see why a lot of Sonata Arctica fans would hold this in regards as their best record. And much like with Winter Hearts Guild, the only reason why Reckoning Night is this low is because I prefer other records. There's nothing really bad about Reckoning Night. It is really consistent. It's packed with a lot of bangers from Sonata Arctica's career. But I just think they've done better. I think they've made better records. So with that said, Reckoning Night, while it is a classic power metal album, I I have to put it at number 8, I'm afraid. So Reckoning Night comes in here at number 8. Number 7, we're going to be talking about the 2007 album Unia, or Unia, or however it's pronounced. Um, but yeah, this album has amazing songs on here. These, this is definitely the record where Sonata Arctica really tries to incorporate a lot of more hard rock elements into their song, a lot more progressive tendencies in this album that they would later do on records like Pariah's Child, The Ninth Hour, and Talvio. Um, and in my opinion, from this record onwards, from Unia onwards, it kind of just sees like Sonata Arctica is trying to do something new. And for the most part, it works. Like, I really love songs like For the Sake of Revenge, Under Your Tree, Caleb, The Harvest, and Fly with the Black Swan. All those songs are really killer songs. Those are my favorite songs off the record, hands down. Unia is a really great record. It's like with the previous two records I've talked about, I simply just prefer other records. Like, I basically feel the same about Winter Hearts Guild, Reckoning Night, and Unia. All of these albums are ridiculously consistent. All of these albums are really, really heavy hitting. And all of these albums have some of Sonata Arctica's best songs. Like, I love these records. Like, what more can I say? Just because they're this low on the list does not mean I don't love them. So, there's that. Coming in, with that said, Unia comes in here at number 7. Number 6, we're going to be talking about the 2014 album, Pariah's Child. What a freaking rebound. I mean, I cannot tell you just the amount of quality between Stones Grow Her Name and Pariah's Child. Oh my god, what an upgrade. This is, again, one of the more imaginative and one of the more atmospheric records I've ever heard in power metal. Like, this album is just as atmospheric as the album cover. It's very cold, very icy, very wintry. It feels like that I'm out there in Finland where it's snowing and I'm getting ready to meet up with a pack of wolves. I mean, this type of atmosphere is really evident on tracks like The Wolves Die Young, Half a Marathon Man, and Larger Than Life. These three songs are definitely some of the more atmospheric tracks on the record. I also really like Blood, Cloud Factory, Running Lights, and the ballad Love. What a record this was. What a record. What a rebound. What a comeback from Sonata Arctica on this record from Pariah's Child compared to Stones Grow Her Name. This is such a step up from Stones Grow Her Name. I cannot even tell you. I love Pariah's Child. Love this record. So with that said, Pariah's Child comes in here at number 6. Let's talk about my top 5 Sonata Arctica albums. Coming in at number 5, we've got the 2016 album, The Ninth Hour. This followed up Pariah's Child, and really from Pariah's Child up to where they are now, every record just continues to get better and better, while still maintaining that signature Sonata Arctica consistency that they developed on their earlier records. Sonata Arctica, at this point, they are now fully embraced with the progressive power metal stance that they started on with Stones Grow Her Name, and now they have taken it into a more intelligent and a more thought-provoking approach, if that makes sense. And as a result, all of these songs from Pariah's Child The Ninth Hour, and Talvio are just bangers. And with The Ninth Hour, my favorite tracks on here are Closer to an Animal, Among the Shooting Stars, a gorgeous song. Rise a Night is a very fun one. We Are What We Are is a great single. Candle Lawns has to be one of their best ballads. And my favorite song on this record has to go to White Pearl's Black Oceans Part 2, By the Grace of the Ocean. This is the sequel to White Pearls and Black Oceans from Reckoning Night. It seems like Sonata Arctica love to do sequels from some of their most successful songs on Reckoning Night, for good reason. And quite honestly, I honestly think that White Pearls Black Oceans Part 2 is better than the original one on Reckoning Night. It's more punchier, it's more memorable, it's more ambitious, it's just more epic. What more can I say? Even though the original White Pearls and Black Oceans is also really killer as well, I like Part 2 just a tad bit more, but what a song, what a collection of songs, what a story. Absolutely love it. So with that said, The Ninth Hour comes in here at number 5. Number 4, we're going to be talking about the latest record, Talvio, from 2019. And I say this is their latest record because as we speak, Sonata Arctica is currently working on a new album that will be released in March of this year. It'll be known as Clear Cold Beyond. I will make a separate album review for that when it comes out. So, yeah, we'll just wait and see how that record compares to the rest of their discography. But in the meantime, Talvio, one of my favorite records from Sonata Arctica. This record is just freaking amazing. This is just a beautiful record from start to finish. I mean, every song on this album are just masterpieces. But in my opinion, the best songs on here are Message from the Sun, Whirlwind, Cold, The Demon's Cage, The Raven Still Flies, Who Failed the Most, and The Garden. And really, every other song that I didn't mention, beautiful. If there is one word that I could use to possibly describe this record, it is beautiful. And it's only here at number 4. That's how good Sonata Arctica is. They just have way too many great albums, way too many great and consistent records. So, Talvio comes in here at number 4. Let's figure out what albums are higher than this one. So, number 3, we got the 2009 album, The Days of Grey. Another one of their more classic records, and I have to say that they improved a lot on this record compared to the previous 3 records. I mean, this album is just jam-packed with banging songs. Death Aura, The Last Amazing Grace, Flag in the Ground, another one of their more overplayed songs. Everything Fades to Grey, Juliet, Zeros, and No Dream Can Heal a Broken Heart. What an album this is. And even the tracks that I didn't mention, they're all bangers. This album is flawless. This album is completely flawless. I absolutely love The Days of Grey. One of my favorite albums from Sonata Arctica. Number 2, we're going to be talking about the 2001 album, Silence. This is their second album, and arguably their most popular record. I mean, Reckoning Night and Ecliptica are kind of the other competitors there. Maybe Days of Grey as well, depending on who you ask. But Silence, I mean, it has Wolf and Raven on it. Arguably Sonata Arctica's most popular song, for good reason. This song is fast, this song is technical, this song is just awesome. But it's not my favorite song on the record. That title has to go to Weballergy. I absolutely love Weballergy. Just a banging song from start to finish. San Sebastian, the end of this chapter, The Power of One, a great epic song, and Black Sheep. Every song on this record is perfect. Every song on this record is perfect. Even the tracks that I didn't mention, they're perfect. But I just had to go with these songs as my favorites from the record. Even though the whole album is just a banger from start to finish. So with that said, Ecliptica from Silence, rather. Not Ecliptica, what are you talking about? Silence comes in here at number 2. Great record. An iconic power metal record. Love it. Alright, so now we have finally reached it. Number 1. Process of elimination. If you're a Sonata Arctica fan, then you know what album is left. At number 1, we got the 1999 album Ecliptica. This is one of the best debut records I have ever heard in any genre, whether it's metal or whether it's rock or pop or country. Who cares? Ecliptica is just a freaking flawless record from start to finish. This is easily one of my favorite debut records of all time. Heck, it might be number 1. Every song on this record is just majestic from start to finish. You got Replica, Blank File, Full Moon, Letter to Dana, a gorgeous ballad, Kingdom for a Heart, Eighth Commandment, and my favorite Sonata Arctica song of all time, Picturing the Past. This album has their best melodies, their best guitar work, their best vocal work by Tony Kakko. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. Tony Kakko as a singer, just his voice after these first couple of records are just so it's just so different. I love his more raspier approach. I love the keyboard when it comes to vocal work on this record. And the harmonies, the production, it just is very icy and very just wintry and cold. Absolutely nothing more about this record can be justified by, anything else I could say. Like, every song is perfect. Every song is performed amazingly. Every song is just top-notch, killer power metal. I wish Sonata Arctica would have stayed this way throughout the bulk of their career, but, then again, their later stuff is pretty good too. But Ecliptica will always be my number 1 favorite Sonata Arctica album. I don't see that changing anytime soon. So with that said, Ecliptica comes in here at number 1, one of my all-time favorite debut metal records, and probably one of my favorite records of all time. Alright, so with that said, that concludes this edition of Magic Metal Mondays. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is WaterDive122, signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.